Hey, how you guys doing out there? Welcome to the Wisdom Thoughts and Cigar channel, where I drop jewels to those who may can use it. And today we're going to be talking about a concept, the concept of honoring your mother and your father and what that means. I'm not going to tell you what it means because I'm not clear on as to what it means. But I was thinking today, thinking back to the past of the 1980s. Now, for those of you who weren't around in the 1980s, a lot of bad shit was going on if you lived in the inner city. And what do I mean by bad? I'm talking about communities being devastated by this thing called crack cocaine, which is not as popular as it used to be. But back in those days, it devastated a lot of communities. So you probably wonder what this has to do with honoring thy mother and my father. Well, we're gonna get to that. But let me give you a little bit of history about the 80s and the crack cocaine epidemic and the destruction of communities and families. So when everybody seemed like everybody named Mama was involved in the drug trade back then, people who were getting hooked on that stuff weren't really doing their parental responsibilities. Usually the ones who was on the other end of the drug trade, I'm talking about the ones who got hooked on the stuff, who were addicted to the stuff, were finding themselves not taking care of their family responsibilities, let's just say that. So during that decade of the 80s, a lot of children were displaced. Children of addicted parents were displaced. They either went to maybe their grandmothers, they went to foster care, or they end up being adopted by some relative or some stranger that they never met. And because of such, of their addicted parents, this had a devastating effect on the children. You can only imagine the psychological trauma these children must have went through, because they didn't really have nobody in their corner. They didn't, more than likely didn't have anybody who gave them a sense of security and love. So those children back then in the 80s who were displaced because of their addictive parents from the cocaine epidemic of the 80s, some of them maybe have found a sense of obligation to take care of their parents, and some are on the fence and bewildered about if they are obligated to be in their parents' life, because the parents now are older, they're grandparent age, who were addicted back in the 80s, and the addicted parents don't have much of anything now, but maybe their children have fostered a life for themselves and found a little success in their life. So the question is this: honoring thy mother and father. And I bring this up because I have a family member who is kind of going through that right now. And her mother treated her like shit. Okay? And now this family member, and we'll just call her my sister-in-law, feels obligated to take care of mother because that's the Christian thing to do, according to her. honoring thy mother and father. But at the same time, her mother's still treating her like shit, like she's just non-existent. But her mother needs her, but she still treats her like shit. So my family member is really torn, and doesn't know what she wants to do. I asked her a question. I said, "Are you doing this to get in heaven?" And she said, honestly, yes. Going back to the Bible verse, honor thy mother and father. But if your parent was a crack addict or treated you like shit in the past, what is there to really honor? That's my question. What is there to honor? And are they honoring you? Because you're the child. A child is a blessing. Is the parent honoring you? So that's the question I posed to her. And I also told her, since you're trying to work your way into heaven, do you think your God wants you to suffer by taking all this shit from your mom as you take care of her and deal with all her mess that she didn't take responsibility for? So I say this to you out there listening. Honor thy mother and father. If you're on the fence about that, ask yourself, what am I honoring? What am I honoring? It's just a simple question for your well-being, for your sanity, for you to continue to grow and expand. Because if somebody is making you miserable or has made you miserable or has put you through some shit, do you feel really obligated to be in their corner to take care of them solely because some dogma religion told you so? Just think about it. Not telling you what to do, but just something to think about it. Anyway, that's all I have for you for right now here on the Wisdom, Thoughts, and Cigar channel. Chew on that for a minute if you're in that situation or you know a friend that's in that situation, and have them question their motives as to why they're taking care of a parent or a loved one or any type of person that may have treated them like shit in the past. You don't have to take that. And I'm sure your God wants you to live the best life you can live without any drama or stress that comes with it. Anyway, take care and stay tuned for the next banger, for the next jewel here on the Wisdom, Thoughts, and Cigar channel.